I welcome all of you. Very good afternoon. I welcome all of you. Our learned speaker CA Sunny Taneja is with us. Our office bearer are also with us. I already took their name. And as you know, Sunny Taneja is a very well-known figure among us. He is in practice as a advocate, as an advocate. Earlier, he was in practice as a chartered accountant. Later on, advocate. And in 2015 he has been elevated as a he resigned and took the membership of bar council, but in a span of less than 2 years he delivered more than 2000 judgments which are very relevant and landmark decisions, and most of landmark decisions are using by our learned professional colleagues while they are arguing their cases in courts. Now our Taneja ji is representing corporate assessee and non-corporate assessee to the level of appellate tribunal of PMLA, High Court, Supreme Court, all the level, ITAT, and he is in practice of PMLA, black money, income tax, and Benami transaction also. This is the brief profile. And recently, there is some group is forming by the government of India, and he's going part of this group. We congratulate you, sir. And if I left something about you, I request you please cover it and deliberate on the subject. Sir, over to Taneja ji, sir. Hello.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai, for the kind words. Before we start, a lot of noise we are hearing. So if we can put all other videos and all other audios on off mode, so that we can have, because my presentation will also run side by side. So only two things should appear on the screen till question answer session begins. My video and my presentation. Only then it will be proper viewing by us. So if you can kindly put all audio and all videos on.
Rajesh sir, I am doing all of you. Sir, please, you carry on, sir, now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because बहुत सारी अभी भी noise आ रही है, sir.
मैं एक एक करके सर सबको कर दूंगा. आप please अब तो चालू रखो, sir.
So friends, thank you very much for the time which you are giving. Even at this tough time we are passing through, your keen participation, I believe, will make this session definitely an interesting session. I know I don't want to remain oblivious to the fact that I am addressing a gathering of galaxies of, I will say, galaxy of intellectuals and learned people like Anil Agarwal ji and Sanjay Sharma ji. Many learned people are there. Our Bipin Agarwal ji. All my learned colleagues. I'm sorry for not being in position to take all the names. So what I'm trying to emphasize is it is a mutual learning process. I will also learn in the process while sharing my thoughts with you on this subject, which is now one of the favorite subjects of mine. Because friends, why I'm saying, you would have noted that in last few years, the emphasis of our government has been on the aspect of streamlining the economy through economy laws dealing with economic offenses. So earlier, the emphasis of the government has been to focus upon the income tax law only, but probably that law has fallen short of the requirement to do the cleansing of the economy and to achieve the desired objective. So therefore, most of the economic legislations the government has either freshly introduced or these have been reinforced in one way or the other. And the more emphasis is going to be on Money Laundering Act because of the global requirement also. As Rajesh bhai was saying that in 2022, the G20 meet is going to be convened by India. So India is going to represent this time. So therefore, India has to show to the world also, do it and then show to the world that India is ahead in streamlining, in implementing, in drafting and then implementing laws with regard to anti-money laundering. So this is a global requirement to enforce the law properly with regard to countering the money laundering aspects. I will deal the background part of it But before that, just a few things, few interesting things which you might be interested in seeing. Now you can see that few months back, there was one photograph in Times of India showing attachment of chimpanzees. In fact, these chimpanzees were confiscated by the Enforcement Directorate. So, like everyone else, I was also for a moment flabbergasted. भाई ये chimpanzees and attachment by Enforcement Directorate बात समझ में नहीं आई. अगर कोई वाइल्ड लाइफ अथॉरिटीज इनको अटैच कर रहे हो समझ में आता है, पुलिस अटैच कर रहे हो समझ में आता है, एज इफ दे हैव बीन स्टोलन और समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो चिंपैंजीज को इन एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट अटैच कर रहा है, समझ नहीं आई बात. So then I read the news properly, and the facts which I gathered, very interesting facts, that how ED can have power to attach chimpanzees. In fact, chimpanzees were acquired by the person who was keeping them by making certain violations, which included creation of forged documents and then leading to violation of Wildlife Protection Act. 2 violations were done. So these 2 violations actually fall in the category of scheduled offenses. Now, when we talk about scheduled means the scheduled offenses means there is one schedule which is appended to the PMLA Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. And that schedule contains the list of various acts which have been designated to be scheduled offenses under PMLA. So Wildlife Protection Act is one of the acts mentioned there. Like Wildlife Act, there is similar acts, other similar acts like Environment Protection Act, Water Pollution Control Act, etc., etc. They have also been mentioned. So violation was done of Wildlife Protection Act and some forgery was done. So both are mentioned as scheduled offense. So a person has done scheduled offense, and from the doing of this commission of these scheduled offenses, that person acquired some voice is coming. Can we please switch off the audio and video?
Sir.
Yes. So
now switched off.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sir, ये कंट्रोल तो आपके पास होना चाहिए ना इसका.
सर मैं स्विच ऑफ करता हूँ, उससे पहले ही वो स्विच ऑन करके बस शुरू हो जाते हैं.
नहीं पर ऑल राइट, बट होस्ट के पास होता है कंट्रोल मोस्टली.
नहीं, होस्ट के पास है, लेकिन सर अगेन स्विच ऑन कर लेते हैं वो. चलो, एनीवे चलो सर. So
I will request my members to please, for the sake of convenience of all of the members here, all the brothers sisters are listening very carefully. I am thankful to all of you. So if you kindly bear with me and raise the questions either by show of hands or by the chat part which is there, and then I will try to take up most of the questions as would be possible at the end of the session. Before answering, I will not like to leave the session, so be rest assured. Whatever questions we can answer on this forum, I would definitely like to answer. So kindly bear with me till then, sir. So friends, so the things happen like that, Wildlife Protection Act का violation हुआ, forgery हुआ. सर ये वीडियो ऑन हो रहा है बार बार, एक फोर्जरी हुआ.
नहीं, वीडियो तो ऑफ है सर.
ये देखो ना सर, ये मेरे सामने मुझे दिख रहा है, ये मेरे को नाम भी नजर आ रहा है, मिस्टर नरेश गुप्ता.
ये नरेश गुप्ता जी का बार बार वीडियो और ऑडियो दोनों ऑन हो जाते हैं सर, ये कर देते हैं. चलो एनीवे सर, मैंने बंद कर दिया
जी. सो 2 वायलेशन हुआ और ये चिंपैंजीज वहां से उस वायलेशन करने के बाद उसने लिए. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि these are proceeds of that from acquired from commission of that scheduled offense. So ये as per the definition of PMLA, it becomes proceeds of crime. So since these are proceeds of crime, ED has been given power to make attachment of the proceeds of crime. So that is how ED took custody of these 2 chimpanzees, and then they were handed over to the zoo authorities or whatever other authorities were there. So that is how I was very amused when I read this news, and it became quite interesting for me. So that is why I have taken this slide. You can kindly see how much distance now ED can travel and how much disconnected things can be connected back by the ED like this. That chimpanzees, ED. Nothing more needs to be explained to see that what kind of wide spectrum ED has today. Then you must have read this news in the newspaper that Modi's Benami has companies running for cover. In fact, when this PMLA alone was there, since what I would say, the reach was not as much deep as it has become now. As much as it has become now. और ये बीच में वॉइस
रोहित जी आप प्लीज स्विच ऑफ कीजिए अपना।
सर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जूम में कंट्रोल अगर होस्ट की लिबर्टी के बिना ऑन होता नहीं है। आई डोंट नो
सर, इसमें है सही है, बार बार ऑन कर लेते हैं। एनीवे मैंने ऑफ कर दिया सर।
थैंक यू सर। सो दिस मोदीज बेनामी लॉ हैज कंपनीज फॉर कवर। इस न्यूज को अगर हम ढंग से पढ़ें तो इसमें निकल के बात क्या है कि अब जब ये बेनामी लॉ भी साथ में आ गया और कॉम्बिनेशन डेडली हो गए, बेनामी लॉ और पीएमएलए, और अभी हम एसएफआईओ की बात नहीं कर रहे, वो और साथ में आ जाता है, तो कॉम्बिनेशन इतनी डेडली हो जाती है कि अब जो मैं अक्सर बात कहता हूं, जो संजय जी और अपना दीप जैन साहब अभी कह रहे थे थोड़ी देर पहले कि साहब मैं गीता से कनेक्ट करता हूं, लेकिन बात सच है कि द टाइम हैज कम व्हेन वी मस्ट रियलाइन आवरसेल्व्स, realign in all respects, and that is what we must guide our clients also. That realignment, first of all, our own realignment as a person, as an individual, as a citizen of this country, then realignment as a professional, and then accordingly we should guide to the clients that realignment should be done now. When I talk about realignment, I mean earlier the cost of non-compliance was relatively not as high as it has become now. So now cost of non-compliance has become far higher than the cost of compliance. Kindly see, whosoever has done non-compliance, I mean, they are not getting any reprieve. So therefore, the time has come. Now we should see from all the angles taken together that whether this kind of thing is creating any trouble, not only in this law which I am dealing, but any other law. So what I'm trying to say, if I have to make representation in under any one law, I don't have to confine myself within that law only. I have to see from the spectrum of other laws also. So that is why I am getting various queries nowadays from many companies कि तनेजा साहब अब आप ये बताइए, इसमें कोई पीएमएलए का एंगल तो नहीं है इन्वॉल्व, इसमें कहीं कोई और बेनामी का एंगल तो नहीं है, कहीं ब्लैक मनी एक्ट तो नहीं आ जाता, इसमें एसएफआईओ का कोई जुरिडिक्शन तो नहीं बनता, क्योंकि अब पता नहीं किसका क्या एंगल बनता है। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि हम लोग विलिंगली कोई मिस्टेक करते हैं। सिस्टम अनफॉर्चुनेटली हैज बीन लाइक दैट सिंस वी गॉट इंडिपेंडेंस इन आवर कंट्री, दैट पीपल हैड टू अंडरगो सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच वर नॉट स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड मैनर. So since they were not straightforward manner, habit became like that only. So now anything which is not in straightforward manner, it will definitely be hit by one law or the other. So therefore the things have changed drastically now. Now this news is very important. CBI ED action may now follow IT default probes. Now you must have read this in probably it was in Hindustan Times. Kindly see multi-agency scrutiny. The three agencies are coordinating among themselves as well as using the power of high order data analytics. Now data analytics, अब इसकी आप पावर समझ लीजिए साहब data analytics की, जो हम Zoom पे मीटिंग कर रहे हैं ना, इस तरह की जितनी भी चीजें आ रही हैं अब, ये सब टेक्नोलॉजी की देन है। अब टेक्नोलॉजी की देन सिर्फ इसी तरफ नहीं है, टेक्नोलॉजी की देन उस तरफ भी है। सो जब हम बात करते हैं कि टेक्नोलॉजी की देन उस तरफ भी है, इसका मतलब यही है कि एक डेटा क्रिएशन होता है और डेटा क्रिएशन में हर चीज का एक सुराग, एक टेंजिबल एविडेंस छोड़ा जाता है बाय द पर्सन from whom this data is emitting, oozing out. उस डेटा को बस अगर कोलेट कर दिया जाए तो बहुत सारी चीजें प्रूव हो जाएंगी ऑन द फेस ऑफ इट, कुछ और प्रूव करने की जरूरत नहीं रह जाएगी। इसको बोलते हैं डेटा एनालिटिक्स। और डेटा एनालिटिक्स का सबसे बड़ा जो उदाहरण जो दिया जाता है अक्सर मीडिया में, वो दिया जाता है कि द वे ट्रम्प गॉट विक्ट्री वाज थ्रू डेटा एनालिटिक्स ओनली। यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज, वेरी पॉपुलर न्यूज इट वाज. So that is what the data analytics technology the government is going to use here in this country also. And that is why I say the time has come now. We realign ourselves the way we live and the way we do our business. Coming back to money laundering now. Let us zero in today on money aspects of money laundering. So friends, the first question when we talk about money laundering that arises is, what exactly is money laundering? Any guess on that? You must be thinking, some of us, you must be thinking, sir, black money, money laundering means converting black to white. You are right, but partly only. Because merely converting black to white may fall in the category of tax avoidance as well. So by making violation of Income Tax Act, a person would do what he do is in fact tax evasion, but that is not itself lead to money laundering. Something more is required to fall into the category of money laundering. And what is that? That is what we are going to discuss here today. So in simple words, when I try to understand money laundering from a common sense perspective, I see money laundering from this angle that a person who is earning money or proceeds from doing some crime means any offense which is scheduled offense appended to the schedule of the PMLA, and the money is so generated so first step is scheduled crime and then money generated, and that money so generated is portrayed as clean money. So money is earned from tainted sources, and that money earned from tainted sources is being portrayed as money from untainted sources. Though some of us who are following the developments happening in PMLA law might be thinking, no, that this third step has been done away with probably now. You may be right, but hold on for a moment, because first of all, we are trying to understand from common perspective what the money laundering is, subject to whatever amendments have been made recently, and if at all, those amendments will make any changes in this regard. So fundamental concept, friends, is this, that there should be 3 steps involved, because the name itself suggests that laundering of money, cleaning of money. So meaning thereby some exercise should be involved whereby the color of the money is changed. Now we say color of the money is changed, so you may say that black to white is also changing of color. But color of money is changed from this angle that the bad money becomes the good money. Not only black to white, bad to good. So it should be a journey from badness to goodness. Only then things should ideally fall into the concept of money laundering. How this concept got evolved before coming to the legislation which is there before us in India, let me give you some brief background about it. In fact, its origin goes back to 97 or even before that, when some resolution was adopted at United Nations that a lot of things are happening around the globe which are creating individual troubles in the economies of various countries. For example, drug trafficking is happening, smuggling is happening, terrorism is happening, and the backbone of all those things is financing into these activities. And that financing has becoming possible only because certain persons are doing transactions either in other names, or they are introducing good money into bad sources and then from bad sources into good sources and then bringing it back. So in a way, rotation is happening. So therefore it was resolved that each of the countries should bring out some legislation whereby they should prohibit the funding of the transactions by legislating some law whereby the very concept of changing the money from good sources to bad sources or vice versa become a punishable offense. So keeping in view this resolution, FATF was created, Financial Action Task Force, and in line with the resolution passed by the United Nations and also the recommendations of the FATF, then draft bill was created in 97, which became eventually gradually after the developments in phased manner act when in 2002 called as the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. So one might say, sir, that means this law is more than 18 years old. Yes, but still, despite it is 18 years old, I don't know why it has not evolved as much income tax law has been evolved. There may be many reasons behind it. One of the reasons could be that since in this scheduled crime is also involved, so other than the offense of money laundering, other offenses which are punishable under IPC or CRPC are also involved. So therefore, the courts have not been able to interpret this law on standalone basis. So with the liberty and fairness and independence attitude with which the cases of Income Tax Act are resolved by the higher courts, probably with same attitude, the cases coming under PMLA are not being resolved or addressed by the higher courts. And maybe because of that reason, the much evolution as is desired has not taken place. So the law, whatever law has been drafted, that law itself is possible of double interpretations, and the implementation because of
Srinath?
ample. Yes, sir.
नहीं क्वेश्चन था सर प्लीज
जी
गो
sir.
अहेड
जी sir. So because of the implementation being given in the hands of an agency which has given unfettered powers, so wherever the worst possible interpretation is possible, that interpretation has been chosen by the agency whom you call as enforcement directorate. And then when two things have combined, and on the other hand, the higher courts are not coming to the rescue because of involvement of heinous crimes, so therefore the law with regard to PMLA has not evolved with as
अब हो
much.
गया, अब आपको बोलना है जो आप बोलो.
Sir, some disturbance again is coming.
जी सर गो अहेड सर
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So probably that is the reason the evolution is not that much. And because of this lack of evolution, we are grappling with the subject. So therefore need arises.
आपका वीडियो नहीं आएगा, आपको देखना है तो ये आ जाएगा.
मैं एक रिमूव ही कर रहा हूँ सर ठीक है मैंने रिमूव कर दिया सर
ठीक है sir.
नाउ गो अहेड सर
Yes, sir. So, sir, that is why now we are left with chartered accountants. We are also very intimately connected with any legislation in the country. And this is a fiscal law. It may have civil and other criminal consequences, but primarily, firstly, it is a fiscal law because direct attached property involvement is also there apart from criminal consequences. So therefore, the need arises that we should understand the nitty-gritties of this law. And one thing more for which I say that we chartered accountants should also understand. Sir, somebody's video is on. Can you please switch off the videos? Because if somebody in the video is yawning, I think it will disturb all the viewers because we very sincerely, we are all.
सर लेकिन व्यूअर्स को सिर्फ आपका वीडियो दिखेगा सर
Okay, not everybody's.
व्यूअर्स का सिर्फ आपको दिखेगा सर प्लीज गो अहेड सर
Okay. Right, sir. So let me then switch to speaker view. Okay. So there and what is happening, though this is an area where the fiscal consequences are also involved. So chartered accountants should have a role in handling this area. But what happens because we have not been able to acquaint ourselves with this law as much we should have. So what happens, a person would definitely be referred to the lawyers. But lawyers alone are also not complete in themselves in handling this law because it requires the fiscal appreciation also. It requires appreciation of accounting also. So none of them is complete. So therefore, what I say normally is that we chartered accountants should understand to that extent to which the computation of money trail is required, computation of proceeds of crime is required.
वो अपने लगा के आज चलता है.
And thereafter only we should think of referring it matter further to the lawyers. From there they can take on lawyers who was dealing on the criminal side of the jurisprudence, I mean. So combination of both are required to make this law being represented effectively. So these are various activities which I have listed out in which people have been found to be engaged in money laundering activities. Then which legislation, as I have already shared, PMLA is governing this law, and then enforcement director is the enforcement agencies, which does the function of search, seizure, provision attachment, arrest, initiate prosecution, etc. So ED has been given power of arrest. That is where this law makes very harsh, draconian as compared to other laws dealing with economic offenses such as Income Tax Act or Benami law, or for that matter any other law which come to our knowledge. Then what is adjudicating authority? This is a quasi-judicial authority, in fact. Whenever the orders are passed by the enforcement directorate, the first mechanism for the redressal of the grievances is before this forum called as adjudicating authority. And it is a authority which is located in Delhi, Jeevandip Building, Connaught Place. It has got 3 members, and this matters with regard to PMLA are heard singly by each of the members. Whereas other matters, for example, matters with regard to Benami, it is necessary to be heard by division bench as per the practice followed by the adjudicing authority, but PMLA matters are heard singly. So ideally there should be member law, member admin, member finance, but presently there is one member law. There is no member judicial. There is one member law who has been practicing lawyer, one member from the income tax background, IRS, ex-IRS, another is from the IAS background. That is the composition of the adjudicing authority today. Then after the orders are passed by the adjudicing authority, matters goes to the appellate mechanism by way of filing appeal by the agreed party to the appellate tribunal, which was established by under COFEPOSA or SAFEMA, and then it became the tribunal of PMLA, and also become the tribunal of FEMA, and then also become the tribunal of Benami law. So this is the same tribunal which is discharging functions under all these acts. All these acts means the PMLA, Benami, SAFEMA, COFEPOSA, and what do you say, FEMA. And then special court. Now this is where the criminal consequences pitch in. So two consequences are there if any offense of money laundering has been done. One is of course that attachment of properties, and the other is criminal consequences by way of filing of complaint to the designated court of sessions, which is also popularly called a special court by the ED. And the ED will pursue that complaint for the punishment, imprisonment, or fine to be levied upon that person by the court of sessions. So court of sessions will be handling two matters simultaneously. That is the first of all the trial with regard to the scheduled offense, and also then the trial with regard to the offense of money laundering. So both will be committed simultaneously. If there are different courts, then the law says that the court which is trying the offense under scheduled offense should commit the matter to the court which is trying the offense of money laundering. Then important definitions. First of all, what is money laundering? We have understood in a broader spectrum, but let us understand how technically the definition of money laundering has been explained. The PMLA defines the offense of money laundering under section 3 as whosoever directly or indirectly attempts to indulge or knowingly assists or knowingly is a party or is actually involved in any process or actively connected with the proceeds of crime, including its concealment, possession, acquisition or use, and projecting or claiming as untainted property shall be guilty of offense of money laundering. So meaning thereby, friends, from the perusal of definition, you can understand that a person should indulge knowingly or is actually involved in any process connected with the proceeds of crime. तो सबसे पहले proceeds of crime होगी, और proceeds of crime होने के लिए पहले crime होगा, crime के बाद proceeds of crime होगी, उस person की उसमें involvement होगी, involvement से proceeds of crime आएगा, and then end. Thereafter the word is end. Can you see this word end which is in red? That there has to be and projecting or claiming as untainted property shall be guilty of offense of money laundering. So definition clearly saying 3 steps are required. But if you carefully notice, I have put the word and in red portion. Why am I putting it in red portion? Because there is now some development on this. So far the law was clearly that 3 steps are required. First of all, crime, then money generated from crime, and that bad money is portrayed as good money. So portraying of tainted money as untainted money. And that is why this word end is there. But this explanation has been added, which says for removal of doubts, and this is added from 1st of August 2019. It says for removal of doubt, it is hereby clarified that a person shall be guilty of offense of money laundering if such person is found to have directly or indirectly attempted to indulge or knowingly assisted or knowingly is a party or is actually involved in any one or more of the following processes or activities connected with the proceeds of crime, namely concealment or, now kindly see the word or is there since beginning, possession or acquisition or use or projecting as untainted property or claiming as untainted property. So meaning thereby the word projecting as untainted property or claiming as untainted property proceeds with the word or and succeeds with the word or. So that means it has become now one of the conditions, optional conditions, which was hitherto mandatory condition. So therefore, this is a drastic change. I do not know while making this change whether any thoughtful application of mine was done or not, though it can be presumed that whenever law is made, a lot of churning process is done, a lot of things are analyzed from various angles. But friends, I do not know if any application of mind has been done, then what would be the answer to my this poser? That if without even projecting the bad money as good money, it will fall into the category of money laundering, then anybody who is doing any scheduled offense, say he does some forgery and makes money out of it, say he issued bogus bills, and then he say earned some commission in cash of rupees, say 10 lakh rupees, then that itself act will be money laundering. He need not deposit that 10 lakh rupees in bank account or claim that bad amount as good amount. So that very earning will make him liable for the offense of money laundering. So friends, it is really very strange kind of thing, because he will be punished, according to my little understanding, twice for the same offense. First, he will be punished under CRPC or IPC for the same offense of doing forgery, and then he will be, for the same offense, he will be punished under money laundering also. So it will be double whammy now. That is what I can read from this. I do not know what has been the, because this projecting untainted, tainted as untainted, it was one of the mandatory conditions. It is actually soul of money laundering. So if this soul has been removed, I do not know how every activity can be called as money laundering. Then, sir, I can skip this. I will be focusing now. There are many slides. So I believe that we will be focusing today on fundamentals and only important issues. So I'll be skipping those slides which I think of not very importance, great importance as on date. But if we think we have to make in-depth study of this law, then later on we can add these slides. So pursuits of crime under section 2(1)(u). So far I have said that there will be pursuits of crime. So what do we mean by pursuits of crime, first of all? Because that is what ED can attach. So let us understand pursuits of crime means what. So as per the definition given under section 2(1)(u), pursuits of crime means any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly by any person as a result of criminal activity relating to a scheduled offense, or the value of any such property, or where such property is taken or held outside the country, then the property equivalent in the value held within the country or abroad. Now, very important question is arising here. From the reading of the definition, what you decipher? Whether the property which is derived from proceeds of crime only, that can be attached, or even that property, if that property is not found or not available with the ED, then the ED can make attachment of any other property of the value equivalent to that. Now, this is one of the most controversial questions which we are facing as on date, because the way ED has been taking action today is somewhat in a manner as if each and every property is liable to be confiscated if it is possessed by the person who has done scheduled offense, irrespective of the fact whether that property has been derived from the commission of offense or not. And that is how in majority of the cases actions have been done, matters have been raised. There is larger controversy on it. Some judgments have come very recently. Until then, there was very huge controversy. I will discuss that judgment also. But before that, I will give you my interpretation. This amendment has also been made with effect from 1/8/2019, which says for the removal of doubt, it is hereby clarified that proceeds of crime include property not only derived or obtained from the scheduled offense, but also any property which may directly or indirectly be derived or obtained as a result of any criminal activity related to scheduled offense. So its scope has been enlarged, obviously, to the extent कि आपने scheduled offense नहीं किया हो पर कोई और offense किया हो, उससे भी जो proceeds generate होंगी वो भी proceeds of crime में आएंगी. Then scheduled offense I have already discussed, which is part of part A, B or C. Then, sir, as I discussed that these three stages are required. Stage 1, that there should be commission of scheduled offense. Then stage 2, generation of proceeds of crime. And then stage 3, commission of money laundering by placement, layering, integration. Then this stage 3, it appears that people are claiming that this has been done away with, whether projection or not. It is only one of the conditions. It is not, stage 3 is not a mandatory condition now. So this is just reproduction of the earlier slide. I am skipping it. Now, before I come to the doubts which are coming with regard to POC, let us also talk about what are the proceedings under PMLA which are generally done by the Enforcement Directorate, as the Enforcement Directorate is the enforcement agency for this law. Firstly, as you know, inquiry and investigation, you must have noticed some of your clients are receiving notices day in, day out. Enforcement Office conducts inquiry and investigation upon accused or suspected and any other person on the basis of the information received from other agencies like CBI, Income Tax Department, FIU, EOW, etc., etc. then it has power to make summon, issue and call for summon under section 50 of PMLA. And then it has also power of carrying out survey, search and seizure under section 16 and 17 of PMLA. And then it also initiates proceedings for retention of records and property. Suppose during the course of survey or search, ED gets hold of certain documents and ED is of the opinion that these documents are necessary, then it can make a retention of such kind of documents, and it can also file original application under section 17(4) before the adjudicating authority for retention of the documents. Then after the attachment is done by the Enforcement Directorate, then it has obligation to file its report to the adjudicating authority, which is called as original complaint, which is filed under section 5(5) before the adjudicating authority, and then adjudicating authority decides whether the attachment should be allowed or not within a gap of 180 days, within a period of 180 days. Then proceedings for criminal prosecution. Then we can file prosecution complaint under section 45 of PMLA before the special court. So this proceeding number 1 and 2, this is done before the adjudicating authority, which goes up to appellate tribunal. And proceeding number 3, listed at number 3, is done before the special court, that is Court of Sessions. That is the court where the criminal offense is examined. Trial is done of that. Then original application, as I said, that it is filed under section 17. It should be filed within 30 days from the date of seizure. And then original complaint I have already discussed. And then there is a time period of the order of the adjudicating authority. After the adjudicating authority is supposed to give its order with regard to the provisional attachment order. So ED has been given power to make attachment of any property which according to ED is likely to be alienated and which is a matter of subject matter of proceeds of crime, meaning thereby any property falling within the definition of proceeds of crime can be attached by the Enforcement Directorate if ED is of the opinion that that property is likely to be alienated. Now the judgment says that ED has to record reasons and give finding that how the property is likely to be alienated. And then after making attachment under section 5, the ED is supposed to file original complaint, which I mentioned before the adjudicating authority. Adjudicating authority has to give decision upon the original complaint within 365 days, maximum within a period of 180 days. Within a period of 180 days from the end of the month in which the order, the original complaint is received by the adjudicating authority. Then within the period, adjudicating authority will either confirm the attachment order or just release it. If it releases, matter ends. But if it is confirmed, then the matter can be filed before the appeal can be filed before the appellate tribunal. And the shelf life of the order of the adjudicating authority is 365 days or till the pendency of criminal prosecution. So in case complaint is not filed by the ED in the court of session, then the attachment will automatically come to an end within a period of 365 days. Earlier there was no time limit, then the time limit of 90 days was brought out, then the time limit of recently 365 days has been brought out in the statute. Then criminal prosecution, I have already discussed that the ED can file complaint before the Enforcement Directorate. Then this is basic fundamental about the PMLA law, how it works. Now I'll be taking up certain issues which are causing entire ruckus in the country because of there being a difference in law in books and law in practice as is adopted by the Enforcement Directorate. Somebody is making these lines. I don't know how it is happening. Then in this regard, this news I would like to share with you that recently the government has brought out section 72A for the introduction of Inter-Ministerial Coordination Committee. So this is in line with the news that government will do data analytics by coordinated efforts. So by doing coordinated efforts, the government will be doing now data analytics and will also set up Inter-Ministerial Coordination Committee so that both these are not only Income Tax Department and ED, rather other departments also. All of these departments will work in tandem so that the desired results can be achieved or the targets can be achieved. Then with regard to 2(1)(u), as I mentioned, that this is the definition. Now, as I said, this definition can have two interpretations. One is that any value of any such property, meaning thereby any other property. And the other interpretation is no, value of that property only can be taken by the ED as part of proceeds of crime. Now, in fact, if we properly read, no second interpretation is possible here. the law has been drafted in a manner that there are three limbs to this section. And if we decipher all of them one by one, we will definitely get the answer. If you see, two situations have been envisaged under the law. First situation is when the property is held in India, and the second situation is when the property is taken or held abroad. So when the property is held in India, proceeds of crime means property derived or obtained directly, indirectly by any person as a result of criminal activity relating to scheduled offense or the value of such property. If the property is taken outside India, then kindly read, it says property means any property derived or obtained directly or indirectly by any person as a result of criminal activity relating to the scheduled offense or the property equivalent in value. So here in situation only, this has been recently amended by, few years back has been amended by the legislature. So meaning according to the legislature, this situation of property equivalent in value was not there earlier. So that is why, to take as a second protection measure, now this equivalent word has been introduced now, when the legislature is of the opinion that the word equivalent property was not there in the first situation. So in nutshell, in first situation only, this word equivalent can be read into, not in the second situation. So meaning thereby that this word equivalent can be read in the second situation only, not in the first situation. So in first situation, the value should be of such property only. Such means the property which has been derived from the proceeds of crime. So meaning thereby what? Suppose a person has took bribe, which is scheduled offense, and that money of say rupees 10 lakh he has taken, he say invests in shares and of rupees 10 lakh. Then the share becomes say of rupees 50 lakhs. That 50 lakh shares he sells, and then he buys plot of land say of 1 crore. Out of that rupees 50 lakhs he makes investment out of these shares, and remaining 85 lakhs from somewhere else. So this value of this in the plot of land will be of 15 lakhs, which has been derived from the shares. So value means value of that property in whatever converted form it is traveling. So, and similarly, proceeds of crime, when it is taken outside India, then any equivalent value. Meaning thereby, if some property has been taken outside India, for example, in Nirav Modi's case, if property he has taken outside India, then his any property in India can be attached. So law is very clear, friends, in this regard. And fortunately, these very explanations have been accepted. These kind of reasoning I have been given since last 1 year, and I am really very fortunate that Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court had recently accepted this very reasoning in the very recent judgment in the case of Seema Garg and others versus Directorate of Enforcement dated 6 March 2020, relying upon the judgment of Honorable Andhra Pradesh High Court in the case of Satyam Computer Services Private Limited, and also relying upon the judgment of a Delhi High Court, Abdullah Ali Bashraf and another versus Directorate. The Axis Bank had taken contrary view in the Honorable Delhi High Court had taken contrary view in the case of Axis Bank in the judgment which I have quoted before you. But Honorable Delhi High Court, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court has not followed the judgment of Axis Bank and said, no, proceeds of crime would mean only that property which has been derived from the commission of scheduled offense only. And there is some other reasoning which has been given, and it's worth reading. Then section 3, offense of money laundering. This I have already discussed that this word "and" has been blurred so far. But since now there is amendment in this law, because of this amendment there will be larger controversy now. Now, one other important issue which I would like to discuss before you is with regard to burden of proof. ये सब आपने सुना होगा कि ईडी के केस में या एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग के केस में ये कहा जाता है कि जो हमारा एक नॉर्मल लॉ है दैट ए पर्सन accused is innocent unless proved guilty, is presumed, any person is presumed to be innocent unless proved guilty. But this law is just reverse under PMLA conditions, meaning thereby a person is guilty unless proved otherwise. So friend, it is because of the reverse burden which is attempted to be created by section 24. So it is creating reverse burden of proof. So I will read this definition before you to convey only one thought, that it is not a case of 100% reverse burden of proof, but in practice, what the way ED is implementing the law is that as if the 100% burden has been reversely put upon the people. In any proceeding relating to pursuits of crime, section 24 reads, in the case of person charged with the offense of money laundering, the authority or the court shall, unless the contrary is proved, presume that such pursuits of crime are involved in money laundering. In the case of any other person, the authority or court may presume that such pursuits of crime are involved in money laundering. So, for example, first of all, in the case of person charged with the offense of money laundering, तो जिसके ऊपर एलिगेशन लगी है मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग की, तो उसके लिए जब तक वो कॉन्ट्ररी प्रूव नहीं करेगा, ये माना जाएगा कि प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम आर इन्वॉल्वड इन मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग. तो इसका मतलब ये सेक्शन सिर्फ प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम की प्रिजम्पशन की बात कर रही है, यानी कि अगर प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम उसके पास है तो ये प्रिजम्पशन की बात नहीं कर रही है कि अगर कोई भी अर्निंग उसके पास होगी वो प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम मान ली जाएगी. और इस प्रिजम्पशन की बात नहीं कर रही है कि उसने ऑफेंस किया है, शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस किया है, ये इस प्रिजम्पशन की बात नहीं कर रही. बट इन प्रैक्टिस व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज दैट ईडी इज मेकिंग प्रिजम्पशन विद रिगार्ड टू these first two steps also, कि उस पर्सन ने वो ऑफेंस किया है और उस पर्सन ने प्रोसीड्स भी जनरेट किए हैं. And therefore the person is asked to prove the third step, that you prove that these proceeds are not proceeds of crime. Yes, sir. Now the next thing is, though the charges are not proved by the special court about the money laundering, but whenever the order is passed by the adjudicating authority, under this erroneous appreciation of concept of reverse burden of proof of section 24, a presumption is made कि साहब उसने ऑफेंस किया है और अटैचमेंट ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी का एक्शन को कंफर्म कर दिया जाता है. So that is where I find the stark difference between the law in books and the law in practice. Then sir, कोई भी अटैचमेंट करने से पहले ये जरूरी है कि वो रीजंस रिकॉर्ड करे एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट, because the law says that any person is in possession of proceeds of crime and such proceeds of crime are likely to be concealed, transfers or dealt with in any manner which may result in frustrating any proceeds relating to confiscation of such POC. So this recording of reasons to believe is a mandatory exercise, but in practice it is being done in a highly casual manner and reasons are not provided. So only words written in the act are reproduced. So reproduction of the words in the reasons does not amount to recording of finding of fact. So therefore, the Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana in the case of Seema Garg had to pitch in and say, no, you have to give reasons in a manner as if the person of ordinary prudence will create a nexus between the cause and effect, between the material on the basis of which you are recording reason and the effect of it. In absence of that, the reasons will not be valid and the action of making attachment will also not be valid. Then this section 17, I am skipping for the time being. Then search of persons. If any authorities, okay, section 17 भी power of search का ही है, इसको ले लेते हैं. So section 17 और section 18 में search की बात की है. ये जो कंडीशन सामने लिखी है आपकी स्लाइड में, अगर इनमें से कोई कंडीशन पूरी होती है, सर डिस्टर्बेंस आ रही है साउंड में, अगर इनमें से कोई भी कंडीशन पूरी होती है, then ED has been given power to exercise search upon the person who is believed to have committed any scheduled offense or any other person. That is under section 18. अब एक नया इसमें proviso ऐड किया है, which says that no search shall be conducted unless in relation to the scheduled offense a report has been forwarded to the magistrate under section so and so of CRPC or a complaint has been filed. तो पहले कंप्लेंट फाइल होना जरूरी है, तभी सर्च होगी. ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्होंने सोचा कि हाँ इस पर्सन ने शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस किया तो सर्च कर लेते हैं, चलो सर्च में सब प्रूव हो जाएगा. नो, पहले रिपोर्ट होनी चाहिए. ओनली देन ED will carry out the search. So this provision has been brought out to avoid the misuse of power by the ED of search and seizure. Then sir, there is a strong interplay between sections 17, 20 and 21. Whenever the original application is filed by the enforcement directorate, it is required to also record the reasons that why it requires the retention of documents for such a long period. But unfortunately, such kind of reasons are not being recorded by the enforcement directorate. and the law is not being followed in many of the cases. We are representing one such matter before Honorable Delhi High Court also in this regard. Then sir, adjudging authorities में भी क्या हो रहा है कि adjudging authority में ideally सबसे पहले reason record होने चाहिए, reason to believe that any person has committed the offence of money laundering or in the possession of POC, and only after forming of such reasons to believe the adjudging authority should issue notice to the person, but no such reasons are being recorded. Then the other thing is that the adjudging authority is making, in fact, the other problem is that after the order is confirmed by the adjudging authority, the section 8(4) provides that enforcement officer can forthwith take possession of the property of whose attachment has been confirmed by the AAA. So friends, this is another provision which is making this law quite stinging. So one law is that attachment power, other is power of search, other is power of arrest. And then the most stinging is that the moment attachment is confirmed by the adjudging authority, which is in most of the cases is done because of the mechanical way of passing of orders at the stage of adjudging authority. Unfortunately, in many cases, the power of, as per the understanding of the enforcement directorate, power of taking possession forthwith comes with the enforcement directorate, and that is where the whole lot of problem is coming. But sir, there is some embargo on that, and that embargo should be followed by the enforcement directorate. Here comes the need of the proper professionals to immediately provide help to such persons by approaching to the appellate tribunal and seeking stay of any such action, any such possible action by the enforcement directorate at jet speed basis. Then there are some other problems which I have listed out, that there is summary procedure, non-compliance of some of the provisions. Then the order of the confirmation of the attachment is passed by the adjudging authority without any finding to the effect whether any scheduled offense is committed or many pursuits of crime have been generated or not. These two things are presumed probably under the erroneous presumption about the provisions of section 24 with regard to burden of proof, and then the order is passed in highly cryptic manner confirming the attachment by the enforcement directorate. And then sir, many people were interested in understanding the interplay between enforcement, this law dealing with PMLA and other laws. Sir, very importantly, this slide has been very lucidly prepared for easy understanding of all of my professional brothers and sisters. Kindly see, one law is affecting the other. Now, there are 2-3 reasons behind it. Because whenever the fiscal offenses are done, a transaction is done in series. And at every stage, some offense is done. So, for example, a scheduled offense will be done. Scheduled offense may be offense under any of these laws. For example, under SEBI. For example, under Black Money Act. So, first offense is that itself. Then proceeds are generated. Then the generation of proceeds and then it's portraying into good money becomes the offense of money laundering. Then it is quite possible that such kind of properties are acquired in some other name, then it becomes hit by Benami law also. Then simultaneously what happens, that evasion of payment of taxes also takes place. So one thing leads to the other. Rather, I would say sometimes one action we are calculating, okay, I am doing this way, okay, I am doing only bogus billing, or I am doing only, booking this expense because of some compulsion. And so only at the max, the consequence would be that this expense will stand allowed. But I do not know what other serious actions that offense is attracting. For example, invoking money laundering under this because of forgery involved in that. And the new recently introduced provisions of Income Tax Act, whereby bogus billing has been made punishable by way of penalty also under section 271AA. And then of course other serious consequences by SEBI and etc. And so there is a serious interplay now of all the laws working together. Then sir, some case studies I have taken, as some of my esteemed friends were saying that if I could take up some of the case studies. I am taking those case studies where in the farthest imagination a person could not have imagined that he will be roped in by money laundering. This is a case of distillery unit. The distillery unit was set up in 2005 and it started functioning. Then some violation was alleged in 2009 that it has discharged some extra water into the river. contaminated water into river. Extra means beyond the capacity that was allowed. And then eventually ED pitches into and says that it will attach the property. Then I thought for once that how it is possible if some violation, because some pollution control board has issued the notice for violation under Water Pollution Control Act because of extra discharge of water. So because of that, how ED gets the right to attach the property? So things emerged like that. The case was made out by the ED like that. So its capacity was say 50,000 kiloliter. It discharged around 70,000 kiloliter into the river. So those 20,000 kiloliter, meaning thereby were discharged because of the extra production would have been done by the distillery unit, and that extra production generated extra proceeds, sale proceeds, and that extra sale proceeds would have generated extra profit, and that extra profit has been invested in the factory building. So therefore factory building is hereby attached, and that is a notice was given by the Enforcement Directorate. So this case study I brought out for this reason only. Look, a small violation, if it falls under scheduled offense, can take that into trouble. That pollution control eventually cleared the entire allegation. It did not or could not have attached the factory, whereas ED within few months attached the factory. And then we are protecting the factory by way of obtaining status quo from the Enforcement Directorate, from the Office of the Appellate Tribunal, Good Office of the Appellate Tribunal. Then this example I am showing before you is that of, what do you say, Bitcoin, that a person just became an investor. One of the, because as you know, in that multi-level marketing kind of concept, there are hundreds and thousands of people who invest. So one of the gentlemen became one of the investors, and he may have definitely earned money, and he had some fixed deposits. Some complaints were filed in which it was alleged that that company which was running the scheme of Bitcoin was doing forgery, and the name of the investor was also mentioned in the FIR as being close to the management. So ultimately, ED made attachment of the money he had kept by way of fixed deposits and his other properties on the ground that he would have earned lakhs and crores, because the company was alleged to siphoned off around 50 crores. So this person was also alleged to have earned huge money, and therefore his properties were also attached. And the matter we are representing before the Appellate Tribunal. So a person doing only one violation of joining the Bitcoin, at that time it was not any offense also, it was made offense later on. But eventually he falls into this trouble. So therefore the moment a person is not moving straightforward, earlier the fallout was only, could be calculated only with respect to that. But now we cannot even calculate the depth of the fall which a person will have the moment he takes any step wrongly. So friends, after that, now I will share with you one very important thing which you might be interested in knowing. I think 1 hour is going to be completed within 5 minutes, 1 hour since I started. So I will be finishing it within 5 minutes. And this is one of the most useful and important slide which I wanted to share. That is role of chartered accountants and tax lawyers in handling notices and attachment orders issued by the ED. As I shared, whenever any notice comes from the ED side, so the representation has to be done from various angles. First of all, from the angle that whether a person has earned any proceeds of crime or not. And then secondly, whether he has committed any offense or not. So maybe for proving that whether he has committed any offense or not, role of a lawyer, particularly criminal lawyer, may be of significance, or it would be his main role. But as far as this first aspect is concerned, that whether that person has generated any proceeds, which could be said to be proceeds of crime, and in what form that proceeds of crime are now lying. This may look to you very simple exercise, but in all big cases, this is the most complex exercise. Rather in small cases also, it becomes small exercise, a very huge exercise, because of this vagueness in law and because of the complex structures of the transactions, and because of the time lag, huge time lag in happening the transactions and then action being taken by the Enforcement Directorate. There being no time limit, since there being no time limit on such kind of things. So for example, nowadays the most prevalent area where the ED is taking action is those cases where default has been done by the borrowers who have obtained huge amount of loan from the banks. In fact, what happens whenever a loan is when the loan is defaulted by a borrower, meaning thereby the payment is defaulted, then if the banker, that is the lender of the money, if it finds that the default is because of variety of reasons, such as the obtaining of the loan was on some illegal premise, some factually incorrect premises by submitting some bogus documents, forged documents, or the funds have been siphoned off to some other areas which are not permitted. So all these activities or actions amount to forgery, etc., which is punishable under section 420 under IPC and CRPC. So therefore such kind of scheduled offenses से अगर कोई money generate होगी तो that will amount to proceeds of crime. So therefore the complaint is filed to the enforcement directorate. Enforcement directorate in turn will file complaint to the competent court or to CBI or to the special court, and then will also initiate action of making attachment of the property. So under these cases, suppose if the company who has defaulted, say, had taken loan of rupees 1,000 crores. Most of the cases of, say, Malia Group or Nirav Modi Groups or many other, Sterling, many other huge number of cases, or this Yes Bank case, recently case. So amounts involved are huge. DHFL case, amounts involved are huge. So it becomes very, very difficult to know the trail of the money which is alleged to have been generated from commission of offense, and then in what properties these kind of proceeds are traveling. So for example, this loan which was taken by that company, then from that it has acquired some property, or say further it has exchanged further hands. So all those persons in the chain are in the line of firing range from the ED side. So here comes the precise role of the chartered accountant. If this kind of exercises are done by the chartered accountant using his skill, like identifying the source of the attached properties and differentiating it with the alleged proceeds of crime, identifying loan utilization in the attached property, calculation of the correct value of the alleged proceeds of crime, valuation of the property attached and the comparison with the alleged proceeds of crime, then proper financial accounting and analysis, preparation of money trail for the attached property to demarcate the source of funds. As I said, कहाँ का लोन गया है, किस किस प्रॉपर्टी में यूज हुआ है, किस किस में नहीं हुआ है, जिससे कि अगर मैं ये दिखा दूं कि साहब ये लोन तो सिर्फ इतना था और सिर्फ यहाँ यूटिलाइज हुआ है, तो बाकी लोगों के यहाँ जो एक्शन हो रहा है वो इलीगल होगा, या बाकी प्रॉपर्टी जो अटैच हो रही है वो अब खासकर से सीमा करके जजमेंट के बाद या इस तरह से जजमेंट के बाद जिसमें कि लॉ को ठीक से क्लियरफाई किया जाए, वो सब एक्शंस इलीगल हो जाएंगे. So here comes the role of the chartered accountants in a proper way. Sir, I think I have covered up the broad fundamentals to make you understand my thoughts on the working mechanism of the ED or the basic thread work of PMLA. So with this, we can take up important questions if we want, and or the way Rajesh Bhai would like, we can go that way.
Now it's a good thing. Now we should take the question answer, sir.
Yes.
Question answer में Ashok Gupta ji want to ask some question?
Yeah. One question I would like to ask.
Yes, sir.
एक व्यक्ति के यहाँ search हुआ, and he told me one thing which I just wanted to confirm from you. जैसे अभी आपने कहा कि ये टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट वगैरह भी बहुत टेक्नोलॉजिकली सेवी हो गए, and they are using big data and technology in a big way. Hello?
जी सर, जी अशोक, sorry.
नहीं, not at all. तो मुझे उन्होंने एक बात कही which I wanted to confirm कि WhatsApp पे जो messages हैं, even if one has deleted, and they can retrieve it even after a few years. Is it correct? Do you have any knowledge about it?
मैं अभी
सर
भाई थोड़ा सा मजाक करेंगे, लेकिन मैं वही बात कहता हूँ कि वो तो उसी टाइम हमारे 5,000 साल पहले कहा था कि शब्द जो होता है ये भी व्यक्ति विशेष होता है, और ये कहीं ब्रह्मांड में खोता नहीं है, ब्रह्मांड में हमेशा विराजमान रहता है. तो शब्द भी बोल के निकालना चाहिए कि आप क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं. तो अब तो टेक्नोलॉजी आ गई, अब तो सब चीज संभव है, अब हम कुछ भी नहीं कह सकते कि ये संभव नहीं है. एवरीथिंग कैन बी रिट्रीव्ड. तो इसलिए ऐसी बात, गलत बात करनी ही नहीं है
जी.
उस दिन हमारे एक बहुत ही आई वुड से असेंडेड व्यक्ति हैं, उन्होंने बड़ी अच्छी बात कही. तो वो किसी से बात कर रहे थे, बोले साहब कि अच्छा आपने ये वाली बात क्यों कही? बोले मैं टाइम पास कर रहा था. बोले टाइम पास कुछ नहीं आता, जो आप बोलते हैं, जो आप सोचते हैं, जो आप कहते हैं, ये किसी ना किसी व्यवहार में, किसी ना किसी विचार में व्यक्त होता है, और व्यवहार या विचार में जब व्यक्त होता है, अभिव्यक्त होता है, तो देन इट गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू एनर्जी, एंड देन एनर्जी गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू मैटर। तो इसलिए कुछ भी व्यर्थ नहीं जाता है साहब। इसलिए अलाइनमेंट, अपने आप को साधने की बात जो आती है वो यहीं से आती है।
नहीं, मैं समझ गया। एक्चुअली आई वाज रियली अमेज्ड टू हियर दैट कि भाई उसने व्हाट्सएप रिमूव मतलब डिलीट कर चुका था, उसके बावजूद भी डिपार्टमेंट कहने लगे वो कि डिपार्टमेंट रिट्रीव्ड इट, इवन मतलब इट वाज आफ्टर लैग ऑफ 2-3 इयर्स।
सर एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि मालूम ही नहीं होता कब हमने वो बैकअप उसका क्रिएट किया होता है।
सर मैं इसमें कुछ ऐड कर दूं
जी सर।
गुप्ता जी। कल हमने ना, एक अनुज अग्रवाल जी हैं, ये यदि आप गूगल में डालेंगे ना अनुज अग्रवाल
जी,
तो इज ए रैंक नंबर 1 ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड
जी,
और साइबर क्राइम और ये डाटा की जो आप बात कर रहे हैं
जी।
कल हमने उनका सेमिनार रखा है। ये
अच्छा
वेबिनार और जूम का भी ये चक्कर चल रहा है, व्हाट्सएप का भी है, फेसबुक का भी है, आपके आजकल टेलीग्राम का भी है। तो इसी पे कल हमारा वेबिनार है सर। और अनुज अग्रवाल जी विल बी द स्पीकर। He has been granted the Google rank number 1.
Oh.
And he is also the trainer to the All India Police.
Okay.
So ED also sir. तो कल आपके क्वेश्चन का वैसे तो तनेजा जी ने बहुत अच्छा आंसर दे दिया है 5000 साल पहले का।
जी।
फिर भी कल आपका राइट आंसर ढूंढने की कोशिश करेंगे सर।
चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच, आई एम ग्रेटफुल, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन भैया, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
I have a small query.
जी।
Suppose there is an offense under IPC, let us suppose a cheating. Now cheating is a scheduled offense. Somebody has cheated me by 1 lakh rupees. I file a complaint against that person. Case is registered, then PML will also be registered.
जी sir.
So what will happen, sir? That 1 lakh rupees which I gave him, which is cheating, those are the proceeds of crime, those will be attached. Then what will happen to me? How will I get my money back?
ये आपने बहुत अच्छा सवाल किया। कौन सा आप कर रहे हैं सवाल? मैं देख नहीं पा रहा हूँ।
सर मैं रॉय चौधरी बात कर रहा हूँ।
राय चौधरी साहब।
एक बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग एक सीन बताता हूँ आपको, और ये बड़ी अनफॉर्चुनेट स्टोरी है बट ट्रुथ है ये। और इसमें आई थिंक आई इन्वोक द विजडम ऑफ डिग्निटरीज इन द गवर्नमेंट दैट दे शुड लिसन एंड फाइंड आउट सम सॉल्यूशन फॉर दिस। ईडी फाइल्स कंप्लेंट, सॉरी, बैंकर फाइंड कंप्लेंट्स विद द एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट कि साहब सो एंड सो बोरोवर हैज डन दिस डिफॉल्ट एंड उसने मेरे साथ फोर्जरी की है। ठीक है साहब, उसने 1000 करोड़ का लोन लिया और सब साइफन ऑफ कर दिया। Now that borrower comes back when the matter is pending before the adjudicating authority or maybe before the appellate tribunal कि साहब इस 1000 करोड़ में से 300 करोड़ पे मैंने इकट्ठे किए हैं किसी तरह से, मैं 300 करोड़ पे वापस देना चाहता हूं, जो मेरी प्रॉपर्टीज आपने अटैच की हैं वो अटैचमेंट लिफ्ट करो और मैं वापस कर देता हूं। That borrower is saying मैं वापस कर देता हूं to the banker. Now ED is saying no, this is enforced, this is now proceeds of crime. This has become the money of the government now. You cannot touch. We have the first right. So यही तो फाइट चल रही थी जो एनसीएलटी के केस में और जो जेएसडब्ल्यू में जब रिजॉल्व किया वो मैटर और यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया ने जो एफिडेविट फाइल किया, दिस वाज एग्जैक्टली दिस फाइट ओनली कि साहब जो पर्सन है जिसकी कंप्लेंट थी वो रीजन जो था कंप्लेंट का वो रीजन ही गुड हो रहा है। आउट ऑफ 1000 करोड़ अगर वो 300 करोड़ पे दे रहा है वापस तो 30% तो रीजन खत्म हो गया ना, उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? इसका कोई क्लियर आंसर नहीं है सर एज ऑन डेट।
And sir, another thing also, let us suppose I am acquitted in that main case, what will happen to PMLA?
नहीं, देन अगर आप मेन केस में एक्विटेड हो गए तो फिर शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस ही नहीं रहा। शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस ही नहीं है तो शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस नहीं होगा तो फिर प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम ही नहीं होगी, तो ईडी का कोई राइट नहीं है फिर उसमें।
So for ED in order to invoke its power there must be a proceed of crime because there are a lot of offenses for which there cannot be a proceed of crime. For example, murder is a scheduled offense. किसी के साथ झगड़ा हुआ, एक दूसरे को मार दिया और मर गया आदमी, you will start with murder, but then what are the proceeds of crime in that case? Nothing.
Yes, yes, sir. अभी आप सीमा कर जजमेंट पढ़े तो उसमें बताया कि अगर प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम होगा तो अटैचमेंट होगा, अगर प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम नहीं तो बात खत्म।
But the difficulty is that moment there is a predicate offense, ED is rushing to register a case under PMLA, even there are no proceeds of crime.
Sorry, let me correct it. बात खत्म से मतलब अगर शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस हुआ है और मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग हुई है तो अगर वो प्रॉपर्टी डिस्पोज भी हो गई तो उसको ऑफेंस ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग सेक्शन 3 रेड विद सेक्शन 4 में रेड विद सेक्शन 45 ऑफ पीएमएलए में जो पनिशमेंट मिलनी है वो पनिशमेंट तो मिलेगी 7 इयर्स की इम्प्रिजनमेंट।
But I'm saying where there are no proceeds of crime, like a
अगर
murder.
क्राइम नहीं है तो अटैचमेंट नहीं होना चाहिए लेटेस्ट जजमेंट टू अवर रेस्क्यू जजमेंट. So we can take up next question now.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ, नागपाल सर, नागपाल जी
हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
बोलिए सर.
नमस्कार, नमस्कार राजेश जी, नमस्कार अश्विनी जी.
जी जी.
बहुत फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई थैंक यू फॉर योर वेरी इनवैल्यूएबल कंट्रीब्यूशन. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जो कंपनी इन्वॉल्व है पीएलएमए में, जिसकी बैलेंस शीट्स हम ऑडिटर्स ने साइन किए हैं, तो उन ऑडिटर्स को भी इन्वॉल्व किया जा सकता है और वो उनको कैसे अपना केस डिफेंड करना है?
देखो सर, मैं सबसे पहले सेक्शन 54 ऑफ बेनामी एक्ट की बात करता हूं. वहां पर सीधा सीधा आप ये कानून लेकर आए हैं कि अगर आप गलत इंफॉर्मेशन देते हो तो देन यू आर लायबल फॉर एक्शन. और इस तरह के कुछ नोटिस आ भी गए हैं फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन.
जी.
नाउ द टाइम हैज कम, which I said in the beginning, when we should realign ourselves as professionals. Now, a step towards realignment should be that we should do the dealing with our client at arm's length. When we talk about arm's length, it simply means we should not be part of the transaction. We are not party to the transaction. We are only advisor. Advisory देना मेरा role है, मेरा right है, मेरी duty है. But becoming part of the transaction is neither my role nor it is desired from me. I will breaching my duty, my jurisdiction. मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. I think इस एग्जांपल से मैं अपनी बात रख पाऊंगा. Suppose a person comes to meet a lawyer कि sir, I have committed a murder. What should I do? The lawyer says, okay, you have committed a murder. Okay, who is there any witness? Then he says, yes, Mr. X, he has seen it. And if the lawyer says that okay, go back and finish that X also and then come, so it will amount to becoming part of an action. And if it becomes part of an action, he cannot claim that immunity, that privilege communication, that privilege which we have in section 226. Now coming back to our profession, suppose a person comes कि sir, I have sold a house, तो मुझे जो कैपिटल गेन है कितना पे करना है बता दीजिए. मैं उसके पेपर्स लेता हूँ और कहता हूँ अच्छा ठीक है, आपने कितना 1 करोड़ का बेचा. ओके, sold it for 1 crore. How much you had purchased it? Sir, I had purchased it for ₹5 lakhs around 20 years, 30 years back. So I do indexation and then after indexation its value comes and then I compute. तो सर कुछ टैक्स बच सकता है क्या? सर कितना कम से कम टैक्स लगेगा? आई रिकम्प्यूट, आई से कि आपको कि एटीसी का इन्वेस्टमेंट है, वो सब. दिस इज वन वे ऑफ डूइंग इट. नो अदर वे ऑफ डूइंग इट, आई आस्क हिम कि ओके, आपने इसके ऊपर कोई इंप्रूवमेंट किया है कि उसके बाद कुछ कंस्ट्रक्शन किया है, चार दीवारी कुछ और एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. एंड इफ ही सेज नो, मैटर शुड एंड. एंड इफ साहब नहीं किया तो देन आई से कि ओके ऐसे करो, इसके ऊपर कुछ आप कंस्ट्रक्शन कर लो. बोले सर मैंने तो बेच दिया ना, नहीं कंस्ट्रक्शन कर लो, मतलब बिल ले आओ एंड आई कैन हेल्प यू इन दैट. If I say that, तो मैं फिर एडवाइजर का काम नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं वहां पर. I am becoming part of some transaction, part of another wrong. So ऐसे में मैं सोचूं कि मुझे अब I should not be roped in. I think that will be too far to it. तो
मैंने कोई बैलेंस शीट साइन की है जिसमें ऑफेंस इज डिटेक्टेड लेटर ऑन, और वो बैलेंस शीट जो है वो डिफरेंट फाइनेंसर्स को गई है और उन्होंने उसके ऊपर फाइनेंस भी किया है उस बैलेंस शीट के बेसिस पे. तो व्हाट इज माय पोजीशन वंस ही इज फाउंड आउट कि इसने कुछ गलत किया?
देखो सर, ये वैसे जो डोमेन है, इट इज मोर ऑफ एक्सपर्ट्स हु डील इन आवर एथिक्स एंड अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स कि आपने रोल क्या पूरा करना चाहिए था और नहीं किया. बट फिर भी मैं अपनी कॉमन सेंस के बेस पे बताऊंगा. एंड सिंस लास्ट 10 years आई एम नो मोर प्रैक्टिसिंग एज अ लॉयर.
जी.
There is anything which on the face of it erroneously can be pointed out. This was the scenario. You are reported like that, and there seems to be your complicity straight away on the face of it. Then you can.
जी.
अगर आपने अपनी मर्यादा का पूरा पालन किया है और आपने जो मैनेजमेंट की रिप्रेजेंटेशन है वो पूरी ली है, जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आपके पास आ सकती, जो आई थी और या आ सकती थी इन द गिवन सर्कमस्टेंसेस, वो आपने फॉलो किए, then I don't think you can be roped in for any wrong.
ओके. नहीं, अगर मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन नहीं ली है तो क्या स्टेटस है?
अगर आपने वो नहीं था, then you can also be party. Then it will depend upon कि आपकी कितनी, उस ऑडिटर की कितनी इन्वॉल्वमेंट रही है, कॉन्शियस इन्वॉल्वमेंट थी, क्या मेंस रिया था, whether he was party to the transaction also. I mean,
yeah. So MR is the most important document for an auditor, you mean to say?
Yes, MR. And then ये नहीं कि MR करने के बाद कोई भी सारा जुर्म सब पास है, ऐसा नहीं। MR is just one of the first precautions we
Okay.
must.
Okay.
Now Amit Agrawal ji,
Thank you.
ask your question. Amit ji, ask your question.
I just wanted that link for the tomorrow that has already been answered. Thank you, and thank you, Ashwini sir. It was a very nice presentation, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
सर क्या
Hello. अंकुश जी, ask your question.
जी सर, गुड इवनिंग सर। सर अभी आपने एक जो पॉइंट रेज किया था कि अगर सेटलमेंट हो जाती है बिटवीन द ऑफेंडर एंड द कंप्लेनेंट, सपोज इन दिस केस अभी हम देख रहे हैं विजय माल्या का केस, sitting in UK, he is repeatedly asking the government of India that he is ready to pay the amount which is due to the banks, but the bank is or the government of India is not accepting that demand. इस केस में अगर एक सिविल आपस में सेटलमेंट होती है बैंक की और ऑफेंडर की जिसने कंप्लेंट की, क्या तब भी ईडी का राइट रहेगा या क्या कोर्ट्स का तब भी पर्व्यू में रहेगा?
Very nice question. Very good question you have asked. अब मैं लीगल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ इंडिया एंड लीगल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ से यूएसए में डिस्टिंक्शन बताता हूँ जो हम फेस कर रहे हैं. In countries like USA, there is ample scope of arriving at a settlement before the parties approach the court, or even after the parties have approached the court, there is some scope to take a U-turn, settle it outside by making compensation. तो जिनके यहाँ एक बच्चे के रोने की आवाज आ रही है, अगर वो वॉइस ऑफ कर दें तो मेरे
मैं म्यूट कर रहा हूँ सर, म्यूट कर रहा हूँ मैं.
जी सर.
जी सर.
तो सब वो जो इम्पोर्टेंट बात है वहां यहाँ पर हमारे यहाँ ये कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, हमारा लीगल फ्रेमवर्क ये अलाउ नहीं करता है कि अगर ऑफेंस हो गया देन यू कैन पे एनी काइंड ऑफ कॉम्पेंसेशन, एनी पेनल्टीज टू द पार्टीज टू ईच अदर, क्लेम्स, वो सब का नहीं है कॉन्सेप्ट. तो वंस ऑफेंस इज डन एंड वंस एक्शन इज टेकन बाय द एजेंसीज, then the machinery comes into motion and then machinery can be deactivated through process of law only, not by the understanding of the parties. So that is the problem, which is a roadblock coming as a roadblock between this. That is why ED is raising this objection day in day out कि साहब अब तो इसमें right हमारा है, अब borrower pay भी नहीं कर सकता इसको. That is where there is a serious and urgent need of bringing out some amendments, and which Rajesh bhai was saying that I am compiling these kind of things from every corner of the country, so that I can put before to the right people of the machinery wings of the government, so that this issue can be raised at the right time in the right corners. And
Varun ji, ask your question. Varun ji.
अश्विनी जी, गुड इवनिंग.
good evening sir.
कैसे हैं सर? एक चीज बताएं, जैसे किसी एसएससी ने कोई टेंटेड प्रॉपर्टी परचेज कर लिया अननोइंगली,
जी,
he was not aware कि ये किसी पॉलिटिशियन की प्रॉपर्टी है या प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम है, दिस इज कवर्ड अंडर द शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस. अब उसके क्या राइट्स हैं उसके सर?
Section 27 of PBPT has brought out a clear distinction where bona fide purchaser can claim its protection. Now, after the recent amendments brought out with effect from 1/8/2019, the law has been brought out in such a manner that even if a person acquires, even mere acquisition, if you would have, I read for everybody, even mere acquisition of the proceeds of crime has been not only made subject to attachment, but made punishable also, because of it's being punishable under Section 3. So that is the problem which we will be facing after this amendment, which has been brought out with effect from 1/8/2019. Ideally speaking, the law should be that if such person is able to put forth his defense that look, I was not knowing that this is proceeds of crime, look, I have made payment of the proceeds like this, he should be not put into any difficulty at all. But the way law has been drafted after the amendment, he has to, go a long way to get above the problems.
उसको फेस करना पड़ेगा, इसका मतलब
फेस करना पड़ सकता है.
थैंक यू.
Maybe higher courts will come into the rescue.
थैंक यू.
So while that is why I was saying the time has come when कोई भी ट्रांजेक्शन को क्लाइंट कर रहा हो तो उसको हमें कई एंगल से एग्जामिन करना है, उसकी सोर्स भी एग्जामिन करनी है. कहते थे ना कि यार हमारे बड़े कहा करते थे कि यार कोई चीज 10 रुपए की चीज तुम्हें 1 रुपए में मिल रही है तो अश्विनी इसको चेक कर ले क्यों मिल रही है तुम्हारे को 1 रुपए की. हम कहते थे यार बड़े लोगों को ना ये कोई भी चीज अच्छी होने लगे ना बड़े सस्पिशन होने की आदत होती है, नहीं उसके पीछे कोई कारण होता है. तो अगर 10 रुपए की चीज 1 रुपए की मिल रही हो तो एक तो आप पीओसी में फंसेंगे, नंबर 1. नंबर 2 प्रॉब्लम क्या आएगी, जब आपको बोनाफाइड प्रूव करनी होगी तो आप बोनाफाइड नहीं प्रूव कर पाएंगे. आपसे कोर्ट पूछेगी अच्छा आपने कितने की ली, आप कहेंगे 1 रुपए की. ईडी कहेगा कि सर ये 10 रुपए की चीज 1 रुपए में कैसे ले ली, तो आपकी कॉम्प्लिसिटी ही अपेरेंटली प्रूव हो जाएगी उसमें. तो देयरफॉर वी वेरी केयरफुल इन एग्जामिनिंग एनी सच ट्रांजैक्शन.
सर इस ट्रांजैक्शन में उसने वैसे जो है अबव द सर्कल रेट परचेज किया है, सर्कल रेट से भी 25% फालतू है, तो आई थिंक वो 1 रुपए वाली बात तो नहीं आएगी, बट यस आई थिंक जो आप बता रहे हैं प्रॉब्लम चलेगी अभी.
यस, वो उन्होंने कहा था ना कि बुरी संगत से बचो.
सर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन लेते हैं. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चन सर. अशोक शर्मा जी प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चन. अशोक शर्मा जी.
No, I was just saying. Hello. In the case of Vijay Mallya, it is said that there should be a proceed of crime. But in the case of Vijay Mallya, it was the loan taken from the bank which could not be paid. How it was taken to be the crime, and the case is being proceeded?
Sir, it is not mere non-payment of loan. That is a very good question, Sharma sir. मैं इसको इस तरह से कहता हूँ बात को कि दो तरह के जब डिफॉल्ट होता है बैंक के लोन का, दो तरह की सिचुएशन हो सकती है. वन सिचुएशन कैन बी that person has really lost money in business, so it is business. Other situation can be yes, that person has done lot of bungling, he has done siphoning, he has done obtained the loan by forgery, and उसकी intention ही नहीं थी लोन को रिपे करने की. ये सेकंड सिचुएशन टोटली डिफरेंट है. बट अनफॉर्चुनेट सिनेरियो जो कंट्री में हो रहा है, अगर 100 केस हैं तो 10 केस तो हैं इनफैक्ट सिर्फ ऐसी वाली सिचुएशन के कि जहां सिर्फ बिजनेस लॉस है. 10 केस ऐसे हैं जहां पे फोर्जरी है, और 90 केस ऐसे हैं जहां पर बिजनेस लॉस. 90 केस हैं बिजनेस लॉस वाले, सिर्फ 10 केस हैं फोर्जरी वाले, 90 केस हैं सिर्फ बिजनेस लॉस के. इन सबको मिक्स कर दिया. सो दोस 90 केसेस आर आल्सो बीइंग हैंडल्ड एज इफ दे आर फोर्जरी केसेस. सो दैट इज व्हाई people are feeling quite harassed. And not only that person who is alleged to have committed offense, anybody who has dealt with that company, who has taken loan, hundreds and thousands of people have dealt with those companies, all are being interrogated, all of them are suffering. So that is why there is a serious need to come out with clarity in law, amendment in law, self-regulation mechanism on the part of our esteemed enforcement agency, that is Enforcement Directorate. Yes, sir.
Amit Agrawal ji,
beyond the realities, I think.
Yes, sir.
Amit Agrawal ji, ask your question now. Amit Agrawal ji.
Sir, I have already finished it.
Okay, Akhilesh ji.
I also have one question, please.
Akhilesh ji.
One question, please.
सर बीच में और कोई ना बोले प्लीज. अखिलेश जी. हाँ बोलो अखिलेश जी.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि सेक्शन 24 is under violence of the constitution or not? I want to ask that. Section 24.
Sorry, sir, can you please repeat the question, sir?
Sir, section 24 is it under violence? Because it said that guilty unless proved innocent. So this is against the basic TSA law.
It is. Sorry, voice is breaking. आप तो
हेलो
अखिलेश जी आपकी वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रही प्लीज.
आप तो पंखा बंद कर दें 1 मिनट के लिए.
सर
हाँ प्लीज बोले.
सर मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ सेक्शन 24 is the under violence or not? Because this is against the basic law which you already told that guilty unless proved innocent. So what was the distress that the government is trying to make this law?
Sir, Parliament has power to legislate a law with a view to ensure the proper implementation of the law. So, keeping in view the seriousness of this law and on the recommendation of FATF, in fact, there was a global enforcement. There are global pressures. Till date, India is getting global pressures. कि अभी भी आपका law relaxed है, इसको और tight करो. So, because of the global pressures, this kind of law has been made. That the person who is found to be involved in money laundering, the burden has been put upon that. But the unfortunate part is, reverse burden is created only for the third part. अब हमारा जो क्रिमिनल लॉ का फ्रेमवर्क है, उसका बेसिक फाउंडेशन ही यही है, तो उसको कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं? तो जो क्रिमिनल साइड है, यानी कि शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस का होना या ना होना, वो तो ट्रायल कोर्ट में ही प्रूव करना पड़ेगा, प्रोसिक्यूशन को ही प्रूव करना पड़ेगा. लेकिन जो थर्ड स्टेज है, सिर्फ उसका बर्डन शिफ्ट किया है, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या हो रहा है, सारा बर्डन शिफ्ट कर दिया. That is why so problem is not in the constitutionality, problem in its implementation. So what we need is clarity either within the law or clarity from the judgment. In the beginning itself, our courts are not coming forth to clarify the law. Our income tax appellate tribunal, our honorable high court and honorable supreme court, all these three institutions have evolved the income tax law in fantastic fashion. Believe me, sir, I am member of the International Association of Tax Judges. So this IATJ conducts meeting all over the world at one place wherever many judges from all over the world attend. And I find that our legislation, tax legislation, is much more evolved than any other. Believe me, if not much more, then equally evolved. But this law, it is yet in evolution stage. That is why we are facing that trouble.
Now, Ashok Sharma ji, please ask your question. Ashok Sharma ji.
I already asked. I think.
मिश्रा जी.
हाँ जी सर.
बोलो सर, आस्क योर क्वेश्चन.
सर एक क्वेश्चन है, सिर्फ एक जैसे मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग का अटैचमेंट की है. somebody has purchased a property from the person who is already involved in the some money laundering case where he was having no knowledge, and attachment was done.
Yes,
but
sir.
That attachment has to take the publication of the notice, and information to the registrar is also required to be given.
Yes, sir.
And that information was not given to the registrar, or neither the publication in the local newspaper is being taken. What will be the status?
Sir, the same thing which I said, that unfortunately, though the law is not being implemented by the ED in the what should I say, not best possible manner, in the least possible manner. But despite that, the entire burden is being put upon the persons that you prove. Now I take you to the newly created Benami law. वहां पर अगर आपने 24(1) आने से पहले प्रॉपर्टी ले ली तो आप बोनाफाइड परचेजर हो, आप क्लेम कर सकते हो. पर अगर आपने जो प्रॉपर्टी ली और वो 24(1) उस पे इशू हो रखा था पहले से ही, जिसका अटैचमेंट का नोटिस वहां उसकी रजिस्ट्रार की फाइल में नहीं पहुंचा, आपके लॉयर ने सर्च की, वहां उसको नहीं मिला नोटिस 24(1) का, ऐसी कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी अगर आपने ली तो कूड़ा है आपके लिए. यहां पर तो फिर भी आप अटैचमेंट छुड़वा सकते हो. वहां तो सेक्शन 57 कहता है कि वो नल एंड वॉइड है, कूड़ा. उसका कोई मैकेनिज्म ही नहीं सोचा इन्होंने कि अगर वो बाई चांस उसकी नोटिस में नहीं आया और किसी ने ले ली तो क्या करेंगे, पता नहीं क्या होगा उसका. तो ये दो लॉ हैं जिसमें बड़ा प्रिकॉशन लेने की जरूरत है.
Yes, sir. We have taken the NOC from the registrar office. We have taken NOC from the local authority and also from the bank which was finance.
तो आप ऐसे बोनाफाइड क्लेम जो करेंगे वो शायद आई थिंक कोर्ट विल शो इंटेलिजेंस. और
that is pending.
आपने जो अगर पेमेंट प्रोसीड्स की पूरी की है तो देन कोर्ट मस्ट ऑर्डर कि वो जो प्रोसीड्स हैं दैट शुड बी अटैच्ड, बाय दिस प्रॉपर्टी शुड बी अटैच्ड. सपोज 10 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी थी, आपने 10 करोड़ की ली तो 10 करोड़ की आपने पेमेंट कर दी ना उसको, then that rupees 10 crore become the proceeds of crime, not this property. This property ceases to be proceeds of crime if you are not party to any offense or party to any knowledge. जी मिश्रा साहब, next question please.
जी HK वासने जी, ask your question.
हाँ जी सर, ये अभी आपने लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन के बारे में बताया था
सर, वो इलस्ट्रेटिव एग्जांपल था उसका मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग.
अब वो उसमें एक चीज मैं ऐड करना चाह रहा था, अगर वैल्यूएशन कराते हैं किसी रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर से,
जी सर,
उसमें हमारी क्या इसमें प्रॉब्लम, हम लोगों का क्या इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो सकता है, पहला क्वेश्चन. दूसरा क्वेश्चन से रिलेटेड एक और भी आता है कि हमें प्रिवेंशंस क्या करनी चाहिए. टाइम इस तरह का है कि प्रोजेक्टेड रिपोर्ट बनाते हैं, इन्वेंटरीज की रिपोर्ट साइन करते हैं, सारा कुछ करते हैं. इन सारे केसेस के अंदर हमें क्या करना चाहिए?
सर बड़ा
4:40 5:40 2 घंटे तो हो गए.
सुनील गाबा जी प्लीज गाबा जी प्लीज स्विच ऑफ.
प्रिवेंशन तो पूछ लो उनसे एक बार.
हाँ बोलो. नहीं आपने नहीं कह रहा मैं. हाँ जी वासने जी चलो.
प्रिवेंशन के बारे में मैंने 2 क्वेश्चन पूछे थे. हमने वैल्यूएशन रजिस्टर्ड वैल्यूअर से कराई लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन के ऊपर 1/4/2001 के ऊपर, तो हमारा उसमें क्या इन्वॉल्वमेंट रहता है?
मैं इसके दो पार्ट्स में जवाब दूंगा. पहला पार्ट तो वो फंडामेंटल पार्ट है कि हर चीज को जिसको आप अंतर मन से पूछोगे आपको इस बात का जवाब मिल जाएगा. इनफैक्ट हम एक दूसरे को यूं ही परेशान होते हैं जब इस तरह के सवाल हमारे दिमाग में आते हैं. अंतर्मन से हमें जवाब मिल जाता है कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है. पहली बात. दूसरी बात, अब इसका मैं प्रैक्टिकल भी आपको आंसर देने की कोशिश करूंगा कि कोई भी चीज जिसमें मैं पार्टी नहीं हूं, जो मैं एक अपने विवेक से काम कर रहा हूं, एज ए पर्सन ऑफ ऑर्डिनरी प्रूडेंस, वो वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट लाए हैं, वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट में रिलाई कर रहा हूं, वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट में कुछ अपरेंटली डाउटफुल नहीं है, आई एम रिलाइंग अपॉन दैट, बट अपरेंटली अगर कोई वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट वो अब लाल किला की कोई वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट ले आया कि देखो वैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट जो लाल किला, ये लाल किला इनका है, ऐसी कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं है, तो फिर मेरा क्वेश्चन पूछना तो बनता है ना। या कोई बहुत बड़ा ह्यूज बंगला जो प्लॉट पेज पे बना हो और वो कहे साहब ये सिर्फ 10 लाख रुपए का ही है, या मतलब इस तरह की कोई भी चीज जो कि which does not raise your eyebrows, so that you accept. और
sorry to interrupt you, सर सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, बोल देते हैं कि इंट्रोडक्शन सब वकील साहब ने कराया था।
अब दो बातें, ये अपने आप में एक लंबा डिस्कशन है, इसको जब मैं पूरा एक डिटेल जिस मेरा सेशन होता है मैं लेता हूँ कि अक्सर यही हुआ, मैं अक्सर इसको मैं लाइटर वे में बोलता हूँ कि सेक्शन 54 का नोटिस कैसे आ रहा है बेनामी लॉ में, क्योंकि एक जगह सर्च चल रही थी, तो सर्च में पूछा गया कि अच्छा लाला जी ये बताओ आपने बेनामी ट्रांजेक्शन, बेनामी प्रॉपर्टी क्यों लिया आपने, तो बोलता है साहब मेरे सीए साहब ने कही थी। तो मूवमेंट उसने कह दिया मेरे सीए साहब ने कही थी। अब वो सीए साहब जो अब तक अपनी फीस मांग रहे थे, अब वो कहते हैं लाला जी को, यार लाला जी मेरी फीस छोड़ो, फीस अगले साल ले लेंगे, पहले तुम स्टेटमेंट ठीक कराओ जाके। वहां पर अब दूसरा मुद्दा आता है कि उस स्टेटमेंट की क्या वैल्यू है, वेदर द डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस विल प्रिवेल और द ओरल स्टेटमेंट विल प्रिवेल। फिर बेनामी लॉ का जो लॉ कहता है वो कहता है यहाँ में इसमें जो भी लॉ है दैट विल हैव प्रेसिडेंस वैल्यू देन द लॉ कंटेन्ड इन अदर लॉ। देन इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट के प्रोविजंस आते हैं, सेक्शन 101, 102, सेक्शन 91, 92, 101, 102 एंड 106 ऑफ इंडियन वो अपनी बात रखते हैं। तो एक नया झगड़ा शुरू हो ही जाता है। आप कोई खामखाई परेशान कर रहा हो तो कोई लेने देना नहीं हो, तो ऐसी बातों से क्या घबराना। अभी तो आप ये भी घबराने लगे कि हम आप कोई हिट कर गया उसका क्या कर सकते हैं, बट अगर सड़क के बीचों बीच चल रहे हैं तब कोई हिट कर गया तो दैट मेक्स सेंस, एक अलग सिचुएशन है।
सर हाँ
पीएमएलए में ये काफी बेल हुई है इसी पॉइंट्स के ऊपर, बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट के ऊपर। वो यही था कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज प्रोवाइडिंग द कंसल्टेंसी सर्विसेज।
सर आपकी बात ठीक है, लेकिन वो प्रूव होना कंसल्टेंसी चाहिए ना, कुछ और निकल के सामने नहीं आना चाहिए ना। इस तरह की सिचुएशंस भी है कि कंसल्टेंसी के अलावा और भी चीजें आ जाती हैं, फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है। तो कंसल्टेंसी किस बात की कंसल्टेंसी इस बात की तो नहीं कि तुम बिल लेके आओ फलानी जगह से। वो स्टेटमेंट में बोलता है कि बिल कहाँ से लिया, मेरे को तुम्हें कैसे पता, भाई मैं तो उसको जानता ही नहीं था, उसने कहा था। तो सब कुछ वो बताता है स्टेटमेंट के टाइम, नंबर तक शेयर करता है और सब कुछ फिर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट के नंबर शेयर वहां मिलते हैं टेलीफोन में, दोनों जगह उसके यहाँ सर्च होती है, उसके यहाँ भी मिलते हैं। तो सच सच है सर और झूठ झूठ है।
सर आईफोन प्लीज, आईफोन वाले आस्क योर क्वेश्चन। आईफोन
हेलो,
नाम लिखा हुआ है आईफोन, जब पूछिए सर पूछिए। Now I think there is no question. Request राजीव कोहली जी।
सर क्या नहीं आप सर जतिन मनोचा।
हाँ बोलिए बोलिए भैया बोलो जी बोलो
जी। नमस्कार राजेश जी, राजीव जी। सर अश्विन जी नमस्कार, बहुत ही आपने बढ़िया इनवैल्यूएबल आज का सेशन किया है। मतलब अभी 5:30 बजे हम लोगों की आंखें खुल गई हैं ये सेशन सुन के। सर एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन था, आपने भी बात करी थी कि एक यूनिट है जिसने वाटर पोल्यूशन के नॉर्म्स को वॉयलेट किया जी, वॉयलेट किया और वहां से सारा लिंकिंग होके प्रॉब्लम हो गई। अब सर ऐसे ही केस में कोई एमएसएमई का हम एग्जांपल लेते हैं, एमएसएमईज क्या करते हैं, दे जनरली मतलब बहुत इंस्टेंस होते हैं वो सेल सप्रेस कर देते हैं। अब उसी वाटर पॉल्यूशन वाली बात को आगे लेके जाए, एमएसएमई से लिंक करें कि उसने सेल सप्रेस करी और जो उसकी सेल्स हुई अनअकाउंटेड मनी था, उसने उस प्रॉपर्टी में किसी प्रॉपर्टी में मनी को इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, तो वो आपका प्रोसीजर क्राइम बन जाता है क्या? और
ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन मनोचा जी, हमें ये अधूरा रह जाता अगर हम इस इशू को नहीं लेते। एक क्वेश्चन और आना चाहिए था, किसी ने पूछा नहीं कि क्या टैक्स इवेजन इटसेल्फ
यस
ही प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम है? क्या टैक्स इटसेल्फ लीड्स टू शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस? क्या टैक्स इवेजन करना भी शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस है? ये क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए था, किसी ने आया नहीं। मैं वेट कर रहा था कि कोई क्वेश्चन पूछेगा, तो उसका आंसर मैं इस तरह से देता हूं। एक तो कुछ स्पेसिफिकली लेजिस्लेशन ले आए हैं जिसमें कि ब्लैक मनी एक्ट की वायलेशन को शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस बना दिया है, तो वो तो शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस हो जाएगा अगर ब्लैक मनी एक्ट की वायलेशन हो रही है। लेकिन इनकम टैक्स एक्ट की वायलेशन को भी शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस नहीं बनाया है, तो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट की वायलेशन शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस नहीं है। और अगर वो वायलेशन बन जाता, वो शायद इसलिए नहीं बनाया था क्योंकि दोनों डिपार्टमेंट की डिमांड चल रही थी। अल्टीमेटली इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट प्रिवेल्ड कि नहीं साहब ये तो फिर ओवरलैपिंग हो जाएगी, पर हम लोग क्या करेंगे? तो शायद टू अवॉइड मल्टीप्लिसिटी उन्होंने टैक्स इवेजन को उसमें नहीं डाला है। लेकिन जस्ट बी केयरफुल, टैक्स इवेजन से रिलेटेड कुछ ऐसी चीजें हो सकती हैं, एलाइड एक्टिविटीज हो सकती हैं जो स्टैंड अलोन बेसिस पे शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस हो सकती हैं। जैसे कि टैक्स इवेजन करने के लिए जो काम किया गया, कोई फोर्जरी की गई, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, अब मैं सब नाम इस टाइम नहीं ले पाऊंगा, ऐसा कोई भी एक्शन अगर किया जाता है तो वो जो चीज है वो आपकी आ जाएगी इन द शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस, और फिर वो उससे जो भी प्रोसीड जनरेट होगी वो मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग में आ सकती है, क्योंकि अब अदर क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटीज को भी डाल दिया है कि वो तो मेन एक्टिविटी हो सकता है शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस में हो, उससे प्रोसीड जनरेट नहीं हुई हो, लेकिन उससे जुड़ी हुई कोई एक्टिविटी हो जो कि हो तो क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी पर शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस की डेफिनेशन में नहीं आती हो, उसको अब अमेंड कर दिया है सेक्शन को कि वो भी प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम में आएगी। सेक्शन 21U को अमेंड कर दिया है, उसमें एक्सप्लेनेशन ऐड कर दिया।
ओके सर, जैसे टैक्स इवेजन की आपने बात करी, जो भी अगर हम नॉर्मल सेक्टर में देखें एमएसएमई में, जो उनका सेल टैक्स, जीएसटी का या इनकम टैक्स का इवेजन है, आप कह रहे हैं दैट इज नॉट अंडर शेड्यूल ऑफेंस, तो हाउ कैन इट कैन बी लिंक्ड विद द ऑफेंसेस अंडर द पीएमएलए एक्ट? अगर वो मेरा बार हो गया, द माय टैक्स इवेशन इज नॉट कवर्ड अंडर शेड्यूल ऑफेंस, वो मेरा इनकम टैक्स का पार्ट है, तो मेरा कौन से ऐसे इंस्टेंसेस हो सकते हैं जो मेरे शेड्यूल ऑफेंस में नहीं भी आते फिर भी आगे मेरे लिंक हो जाएंगे? फॉर एग्जांपल कैन यू गिव?
देखो शेड्यूल ऑफेंस में तो जो चीजें आनी होंगी वो आएंगी वही आएंगी, सिर्फ जो शेड्यूल ऑफेंस से रिलेटेड चीजें हैं वो एक शेड्यूल ऑफेंस का होना तो जरूरी है। मैं कह रहा था कि मान लो टैक्स इवेजन करने के लिए किसी ने डॉक्यूमेंट फोर्ज किया, मान लो बिल फोर्ज किया, तो टैक्स इवेजन तो नहीं है शेड्यूल ऑफेंस का पार्ट, लेकिन फोर्जरी जो बिल फोर्ज किया गया है या कोई और डॉक्यूमेंट फोर्ज किया गया है वो तो शेड्यूल ऑफेंस का पार्ट है, तो वो तो आ जाएगा शेड्यूल ऑफेंस में। तो उससे रिलेटेड फिर जो अर्निंग होगी, यानी कि उससे रिलेटेड कुछ भी अगर अर्निंग हुई होगी वो आ जाएगी फिर शेड्यूल ऑफेंस में, उसमें प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम।
सर ठीक है, नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन रोहतास जी।
हेलो
रोहतास जी, आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
हाँ जी सर। हेलो सर।
बोलो बोलो
सर, मेरा डाउट है एसआरएस से रिलेटेड, एसआरएस फेल हुआ, एसआरएस के रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे थे, तो सितंबर 19 में स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा ने उसके काफी सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स हैंडओवर हो गए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा को, क्योंकि वो मीट आउट नहीं हो पाया। तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा ने नवंबर 19 को सपोज एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को अपॉइंट किया फॉर दिस टाइप ऑफ रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट्स। जनवरी 20 में एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टर ने उन्हीं सारी प्रॉपर्टीज को अटैच किया है। तो अब ये जो अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट है जो कि हैंडओवर हो चुका है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा को, और यहाँ पे ईडी का भी जनवरी 20 में रोल हो गया, तो क्या स्टेटस बनता है? इमोरल प्रॉपर्टी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया के अकॉर्डिंग
Every bona fide purchaser will have to set up a claim before the matter has reached before the adjudicating authority, and many such matters have reached before the adjudicating authority, and every purchaser will have to set up a claim before the adjudicating authority that his case is of bona fide purchaser, he is not party to any such offense, उसने कोई ऐसा complicity नहीं किया इस कंपनी के साथ, उसने genuinely as a buyer पेमेंट किया और फ्लैट लिया, and then adjudicating authority will have to accordingly pass an order for such each of such bona fide purchaser। वो कॉमन ऑर्डर भी पास कर सकते हैं, एक एक bona fide purchaser के बेस पे भी कर सकते हैं, that is discretion of the adjudicating authority। और कोई और क्वेश्चन हो तो प्लीज स्पेसिफिक क्लाइंट का नाम लेके ना करें, आप मेरे से अलग से बात कर लें कुछ अगर आपको करनी हो तो।
सर काइंडली शेयर योर मोबाइल नंबर प्लीज सर।
अमित अग्रवाल जी
9810064777।
उसको सर काइंडली रिपीट।
9810064777।
64777।
यस सर, 9810064777।
थैंक यू सर।
जी सर, मेरी उसमें पीपीटी में भी है, पहली स्लाइड में है।
अग्रवाल जी, अमित अग्रवाल जी।
सर आई हैव ऑलरेडी आस्क्ड फॉर मोबाइल नंबर, दैट्स इट।
ओके, राकेश मिगलानी जी। राकेश मिगलानी जी, आस्क योर क्वेश्चन।
Sir, in case of, are you getting me?
जी सर।
Sir, in case of bank frauds,
जी
सर जो एडी ने प्रॉपर्टी अटैच कर रखी है, वो सिमिलर बैंक ने भी अंडर सिक्योरिटी एक्ट प्रॉपर्टी अटैच कर रखी है, तो whose will be first right?
बैंक ने प्रॉपर्टी अटैच कर रखी है और दूसरा किसने कर रखी है? एनसीएलटी ने कर रखी है,
ईडी ने कर ली पीएमएल में।
अब इसमें कुछ अमेंडमेंट आए हैं, सिर्फ अब इसी बात को लेकर कुछ अमेंडमेंट लेकर आए हैं, सेक्शन 35A वगैरह लेकर, सिर्फ उतना ही चेंज होगा। अदरवाइज बाकी डिपार्टमेंट्स में अभी भी झगड़ा चल रहा है कि किसका राइट पहले होगा, पहले ईडी का राइट होगा या पहले उसका राइट होगा। सीधी सी बात है, ईडी का क्लेम ये है कि जिस पे इनका अटैचमेंट हो गया उसको कोई और नहीं छुएगा जब तक कि वो जो शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस है और जो प्रोसेस है, जो पेंडिंग है लिटिगेशन, जब तक वो खत्म नहीं हो जाता। तो पहला हो या दूसरा हो, ईडी इज नॉट लिविंग, तो बात ही खत्म। तो जब तक हम उस चीज से बाहर नहीं आएंगे कि जो बेसिस था कंप्लेंट का अगर वो खत्म हो रहा है तो फिर ईडी को रिलैक्स करना चाहिए, ऐसा तो मैकेनिज्म नहीं लाएंगे तो ईडी भी क्या करे? क्वेश्चन रेज कर रहे हैं तो किसी जजमेंट के थ्रू है क्लैरिटी या लॉ में है? जी सर, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन प्लीज।
Dushyant ji, ask your question.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Please speak.
Sir, the question is that in one of the slides, sir, you have mentioned about that the first situation and second situation. In first situation, the proper procedure of crime is related to that such property only, that procedure conversion of that property only. And in second situation is that other property is also covered, like conversion of that property. So can that person
मैं आपको दोबारा बता देता हूँ, मैं बता देता हूँ दोबारा। दो सिचुएशन में वो सिचुएशन है, पहली सिचुएशन जहाँ प्रॉपर्टी इंडिया में रहती है और दूसरी सिचुएशन जो लोग बाहर भाग जाते हैं, जैसे नीरव मोदी वाला केस, तो उसमें वाइडेस्ट पावर दी है। कोई बाहर ही भाग गया, इंडिया का बाहर जुरिडिक्शन नहीं है, तो उसकी कोई भी प्रॉपर्टी हो यहाँ लायबल टू बी अटैच्ड है। उसमें मान लो 1000 करोड़ रुपए,
that person can take a discrimination ground, sir, in
no
constitution or that.
No, not at all. It is no discrimination because any on the basis of any intelligible criteria, any such difference can be created by the parliament. क्योंकि पहली डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो उसने की ना कि वो कंट्री से बाहर ले गया, तो उसको सेट करने के लिए, उसको न्यूट्रलाइज करने के लिए उसके इलीगल एक्शन को such kind of wider power was required and rightly so. अगर कोई इस तरह से करेगा तो फिर लायबल होनी चाहिए, but within the country the law is that only that property can be attached which is proceeds of crime. Though there is some kind of vagueness in this, according to me, there is no vagueness. According to me, now after the judgment of Seema Garg, somebody has asked the citation of the judgment. It is 6th March 2020 by Honorable Justice Jaswant Singh from Punjab and Haryana High Court. The name of the judgment is Seema Garg, and it is, the number is 1/2 PMLA 1/2019, 1 to 3, 1, 2 and 3 of PMLA 2019. I remember also the number of the judgment.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
By chance.
Now over to Rajiv Kohli ji. Please present a vote of thanks, sir.
Hello.
Sir.
I have a question. Can I ask one
बोलिए।
question, please?
बोलो sir, बोलो।
Last question, Sharma sir.
I'm so sorry. Can I take ask one question, please?
Yes, please.
बोलो sir, बोलो।
Please.
अच्छा, ऐसा है कि लेट्स सपोज अगर किसी व्यक्ति ने एक प्रॉपर्टी खरीदी से 10 लाख की और जिसके अंदर उसने 1 लाख का कैश दिया, 9 लाख के चेक से वो क्या रजिस्ट्री, अब इस केस में क्या वो प्रॉपर्टी ईडी अटैच कर सकता है और उसका पोजीशन ले सकता है, या
अगर इस 10 लाख में से कुछ भी ऐसा है जो शेड्यूल्ड किसी भी कमीशन ऑफ शेड्यूल्ड ऑफेंस से है तब?
ओके, ओनली इन दैट केस।
ओनली इन दैट केस।
अगर वो कहीं
ब्राइबरी मनी भी हो सकती है, वो जो 9 लाख रुपए कैश है वो ब्राइबरी मनी भी हो सकती है, वो चीजें हो सकती है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, गॉड नोस।
अगर उसका ट्रेस नहीं है तो देन यू कैन नॉट डू
देन।
थैंक यू सो मच, आई एम सो ग्रेटफुल। आपसे होल्ड किया मैंने, आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल। थैंक यू।
ओवर टू कोहली जी। कोहली साहब, हमारे हेमंत पावा जी भी हैं, उनका भी थैंक कर देना सर।
जी सर।
मैंने कहा हमारे पावा साहब भी ऑनलाइन है, ऑफिस बियरर, उनका भी थैंक कर देना सर।
हाँ जी का थैंक यू करना सबका है। दुनिया सर थैंक यू वेरी मच। एक्चुअली जो ह्यूमन ग्रीड है ना, उसका कोई अंत नहीं है। वाइट कॉलर क्राइम बढ़ती आ रही है। ये स्टार्टेड विद वर्ल्डकॉम, एनरॉन, वहाँ पे इतनी फॉल्सिफिकेशन, इतनी जजमेंट हुई, और उसके अंदर तो आर्थर एंडरसन यूज्ड टू वर्क इन देयर ऑफिस एट अ फी ऑफ $1 million per week.
Yes.
And they used to fabricate the bills through a computer program. तो ये वाइट कॉलर क्राइम, और उसके बाद जो आर्म्स आ गई, ड्रग्स आ गई, और उसका माफिया आ गया, उसके लिए हमारी सारी चीजें आ गई हैं पर से। एक्चुअल पर्सन इज प्रोसीड ऑफ क्राइम्स। एक आदमी ने गुस्से में आके किसी का मर्डर कर दिया है तो उसके अंदर क्रिमिनल एक्ट है, क्रिमिनल लग जाएगा। लेकिन किसी ने 1 करोड़ रुपया देखेगा, इसको मार दो, तब वो प्रोसीड ऑफ क्राइम बनेगी। और सर ने तो इतने अच्छी तरह से सबके क्वेश्चन तो सब चीजें दी हैं सर। वैसे अश्विनी जी हैं, सनराइज है, सारा सबको उन्होंने मलम लगा के सबको ठीक करना है, सोसाइटी को और सबको अपने ज्ञान से। तो बड़ा बड़ा धन्यवाद है सर, अच्छी डेलिब्रेशन की, एंड एवरीवन एंजॉयड इट सर। एवरीवन वाज ग्रेटफुल टू यू।
I am grateful for the keen participation. Thank you from the core of my heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you sir, thank you. A big salute to you sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.